120 feet of California highway just washed away. We want you to check out this video because people driving along Highway 1 at Big Sur near Hurricane Port were forced to leave their cars and walk to safety. I mean, this is just, it's devastating. The road dropped from the 200 feet mark. I mean, that's just 200 feet of, I can't even imagine this. California Highway Patrol does not know what actually caused the massive slide. Highway 1 could be closed, though, for several months for repairs. Now, fortunately, no one was hurt, but we have seen the unimaginable devastation in Japan. It's been a very rough week, and when the worst happens, there's always one group that rushes in when disaster strikes. And joining us this morning is Cindy Adams, the regional CEO of the American Red Cross right here in New Mexico. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now,
Thank you for being here.
Now, Cindy, being in the position that you are in, what's it like for you to see the devastation that's going on in Japan?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I woke up that morning, the radio came on, I heard about the earthquake in Japan. Most people would lie there and say, well, gee, I wish there was something I could do.
Yes.
I thought, okay, what do I need to do to get my staff mobilized, ready to go? And so it's a whole different perspective.
It's a proactive perspective.
Yeah,
Very much so. And that's one of the great benefits of working for the American Red Cross is when no one else can do something, we can.
I love to hear
Very
that.
nice,
And it's so good to know that you are there for people because we rely on the Red Cross. How long have you personally been with Red Cross?
14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how many chapters are there in the Red Cross?
Here in New
Totally
Mexico?
across, in New Mexico there are 4,
Right. Okay.
but we all work together very closely, and then we have some additional satellite offices. Across the country there are 650 chapters who
Amazing.
respond every single day to people who suffer a disaster.
And we are so grateful for them.
Absolutely. And speaking of those disasters, I mean, talk to us about some of the recent disasters that the New Mexico Red Cross has actually responded to.
Well, of course, when we had the natural gas shortage and there was no heat in several cities, we were operating 11 shelters at various times for people who had a place to at least warm up and get something to eat and often spend the night, depending.
Yes.
Then, of course, down in Silver City, we had that little wildfire that went through and destroyed all those homes. So we continue to work with those families. But a lot of people don't realize that every single day somewhere in New Mexico, we respond to help just one family who's lost their home. And we provide shelter, food, clothing, prescription medications, eyeglasses, whatever they need to be able to come back from the emergency.
Great. And what other programs are there that the Red Cross offers?
Well, we have a very strong service to the Armed Forces program, which we used during the Japan earthquake because we're the official conduit of communication between families and their deployed family members. So after the earthquake, we were pretty busy getting messages back and forth.
I bet. And it must be such a good feeling, just on a personal level, taking away from everything else, just to know that you had something to do with making something better.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's incredible.
And that's why we have so many volunteers in the American Red Cross, and these people need to be very carefully trained so that they deliver consistent service no matter where they are in the country. So if we may need to be sending volunteers to the Midwest, for example, this spring because of all the flooding, well, they may be working next to someone from Massachusetts, but they will have been trained in exactly the same way.
So you're basically constantly recertifying people in certain things, like CPR, for example.
Yes, in our Health and Safety Services program, and that's why we do teach CPR and first aid, babysitters training. We teach people how to use AEDs, and there's a lot of different training that's available through the Red Cross as well.
And I also want to mention that March is actually Red Cross Month, and there's an event that's coming up tomorrow at the University of New Mexico. It's called Save a Life Saturday. So tell us about that.
This is to honor Representative Gabby Giffords, who was shot in Tucson a while back. And so this is an effort to do some free training for people and something new for Red Cross called hands-on CPR. It's not the old traditional combination of rescue breathing as well as compressions, but it's compression only. We're also going to teach people how to stop bleeding and to treat people who are in shock.
That's so valuable.
So in a situation like the tragic shooting in Tucson, the people around will know what to do if others are injured.
And I want to mention, you can see on the screen, of course, Save a Life Saturday is tomorrow on the UNM campus. Student Union Building is where you can find it. And the event is in the Lobo Rooms A and B. There are 3 times for the CPR program, 8:30, 10:30, and 12:30. And each session will last 45 minutes.
Yes.
That's great. Great opportunity.
And it's free.
Yeah.
It's free. And you'll be teaching things like you just said about stopping bleeding and CPR. I mean, these are things that we should all know, and especially parents out there. It's a great thing for parents to know.
Teenagers, parents, teenagers especially, like my daughter, she got trained in CPR because she started babysitting as well.
Good.
So it's great. Yeah.
It's so rewarding to be able to do it, and it's so important.
Yes.
Yeah. So I also want to mention that the event is nationally being held, right?
Right. It's being held at more than 100 locations around the country.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good. You see, you're going to have to learn.
All
yes.
right. You want to try this?
I would love to try.
Okay.
Yes.
So very simple. So sure, get up by the mannequin here.
All right.
The key is to put the heel of your hand in the center of the chest.
All right.
Take your other hand and lock it just like that.
Yep.
Okay. Keep your elbows locked. Now, if you're on the floor, obviously you want to get your weight up over the person because you want to press hard.
Right.
You got to go
there
deep.
You go.
Think of the old Bee Gees song of Staying Alive.
Yes.
That's the rhythm. You need
really?
Staying alive, staying alive. 100 compressions a minute. The harder.
That's pretty good.
You got to press hard. Yep.
Yeah, I can feel that.
I love that.
It's very tiring.
That is awesome.
That action
so valuable.
alone can help the blood keep circulating through someone's body, and until the EMTs can come or emergency can arrive, that could save their life.
Well, Cindy Adams, thank you so much, and thank you for all that you and the Red Cross of New Mexico do.
Thank you.
We appreciate that very much. And still ahead on New Mexico Style, we are cooking artichoke chicken. That's up after the break. Thank you so much.